All right, hi guys, Mr. Garcia here, and I'm gonna do a step by step how we get the answers on each one. All right, so on this one, if a square of side length is placed on top of a square of side 6 units, what is the length of the non-overlapping region? Okay, so we're being asked about not the whole, not 6 times 6, but just like the non-overlapping region, so just the white part. Okay, so the whole thing is 36 squares. If you were not asked about like this area, like this section, you're being asked about this section. But if you were just being asked about this section, yeah, this is 36 squares. All right, so there's 36 squares here, but you're not being asked about those 36. What if you put? What if you let's say let's put it back. You're just about 36 squares minus this 16 squares here. Okay, so we're just not the whole 36, but 36, all that minus this area, this small square. Okay, so that's what you're being asked about. So let me put it back so you can see that we're not being asked for the whole thing. We're just being asked the this area. So that's why it's equal to 20. So 36 minus 16, that's equal to 20. Okay, so that's equal to 20. All right, so let's go to slide number 2. Okay, the reason why t is equal to -8 and +8, because you're solving for t. All right, so let me put t is equal to, or to t squared, so t times t squared minus 60 is equal to 4. Okay, we're solving for t squared first, so we're going to add another term on both sides. Okay, so this is really 0. So all we have on the left-hand side is t squared is equal to 60 plus 4, which is 64. We have to square root. We got t squared, so we're trying to find out what t is, so we got to square root. Okay, that means it's multiplying 2 times. So this is being is being multiplied t times t, and that's equal to 8 times 8. Okay, so if we already are multiplying the number inside the radical, which is the square root, it's the same thing as t is equal to 8. Okay, and not just 8. If I substitute 8 for t squared, if it's 8, 8 times 8 is 64, minus 60, is that equal to 4? Yeah, 8 squared is 64, minus 60 is equal to 4. Also -8 times -8, minus 60 is equal to 4, because that's 64 minus 60 is equal to 4. Okay, so that's slide number 2. Slide number 3, the reason is because it's -8 and 8 is because, all right, let's see, we're going to square root both sides. So we square root the left and square root the right. And the square root of v times v is just v. So v, okay, and then square root of 64 is 8. Okay, so your values, if you multiply 8 times 8, that's 64. And if you also multiply -8 times -8, that's also going to be 64. Okay, so the v is equal to -8 and +8. All right, slide number 4 now, or question number 4. You guys had the following. All right, so let me move this out of the way. Okay, so out of the way. And the reason why it's -3 and 3, so let's solve for, we're going to solve for t, or c, I'm sorry, c. Okay, so the first thing we're going to get rid of is this 81, because c is right here. We're just solving for z. Okay, so let's add 81 on the left and 81 on the right hand side of the equation. Okay, so we have 3 terms here, but we actually can simplify this because minus 81 and plus 81, this is the same thing as 0. So all we have on the left now is 9z squared, and 0 plus 81, we could just simplify that into 81. Okay, we're not solving for 9z squares. We're just solving for z. Okay, so z times z, that's z squared. So we're going to divide by 9 on the left and 9 on the right. 9 divided by 9, that gives you c squared is equal to 81 divided by 9 is 9. Okay, we're being asked to solve for z, not z times z, not z squared. So we're going to square root both sides, and z is equal to -3 and +3. Okay. All right. So this is question number 5. This one it's already being we already have square root of x, and that's equal to 10. Okay, so the way we're going to get rid of the square root is we're going to square it. That means we're going to multiply x times x, and we're going to multiply 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100, and then the square root of x times another x is just 1x. So x is equal to 100. Okay, so if you substitute x for 100, what's the square root of 100? Well, it's just 10. Okay, so that's why x is equal to 100 for slide number 5. Slide number 6, why is it 13? Okay, the reason it's 13, so let's solve for v. Okay, we're solving for v. Okay, and it's right here. And we got the square root of v minus 4. That means we're going to that means there's two numbers multiplied together that will give you v minus 4. We're going to get rid of the square root first. Okay, so there's no number in front of it or on the side, so we're not adding like 8. If we were, we'd get rid of 8, but we actually just have the square root of v minus 4. So we're going to square the left side. That means we're going to multiply v minus 4 times v minus 4 twice. And we're going to multiply that number on the right 2 times, so 3 times 3. So when we multiply this number twice, 3 times 3 is equal to 9. And on the left-hand side, we are going to multiply this number, which is v minus 4. So this is a number, and it's being multiplied twice. So let me write it one time. V minus 4 times v minus 4 twice. So what's the square root of that number being multiplied twice? So it's just v minus 4. Okay, that's equal to 9. So we're being asked to solve for v, not v minus 4. So we're going to add 4 on the right and the left. So we're going to add 4 on the left and the right. Okay, so this is simplifies into 0. And all we have on the left now is just v is equal to 9 plus 4 is 13. So that's question number 6. Question number 7. We actually don't have, we actually have a negative number in front of the square root. So if we don't want to square root the whole thing right now because there's an 8 in front of it. It just gets messy. So let's get rid of this positive 8 before we square. All right, so if we have a negative 8, we're going to add 8 on the left and add 8 on the right. Okay, so let me move this the answer out of the way. Okay, so that's the answer. Okay, so when we add 8 on the left side of the equation and 8 on the right hand side of the equation, these two terms cancel out. So all you have on the left is the square root of 5a minus 3. This is 5a minus 3, and that's equal to negative 3 plus 8. So they're different numbers. One's negative and one's positive. So same signs you add, different signs you subtract. So let's subtract 8 minus 3. That's equal to 5. Do we have more negatives or more positives? We actually have just 3 negatives and 8 positives. So we're going to end up with positive 5. Okay, I'm still solving for a, not square root of 5a minus 3. So the way to get rid of the square root is we're going to square. That means we're going to multiply this number 2 times. And we're going to multiply this number 2 times. Okay, so 5 times 5 is 25. So that's 25. And if we multiply this number twice, this number is 5a minus 3. So 5a minus 3 times 5a minus 3. Well, that's the definition of a square root. What two numbers were multiplied together? You already multiply them, so we just write them one time. So this is just 5a minus 3. It's actually minus 5. Okay, so this is really minus 5. So let me write minus 5. So we didn't multiply 5 minus 3. We multiply 5a minus 5. I don't know why I got that 3 from. All right, so the answer when you multiply 5a minus 5 times 5a minus 5, you get 5a minus 5. Okay. All right, so we're solving for just a, not 5a's. Okay, so let's get rid of this negative 5. So we're gonna add a 5 on the left and a 5 on the right. Okay, so now we have 3 terms, but this is really just 0 because positive 5 minus 5 is just 0. So 5a is equal to 30. We're not solving for 5a's, we're just solving for 1a. So I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides, and a is equal to 6. That's how we get a is equal to 6. Okay. All right, so let's see. Let's go to the next one. Y is question number 8, and n has a value of negative 2. So let me move this out of the way. Okay, so let's see. We have square roots. All right, so we're going to get rid of the square root. The way we get rid of square root is that we're going to square the left and we're going to square the right. So I just multiply 3n plus 12 2 times. So I just write it 1 times. So 3n plus 12, and I just multiply n plus 8 2 times. So I just write it as 1 time. N plus 8, we got variables on both sides. So we got n's on the left and the right. We're going to take the smallest of the two. And the smallest of the two is 1n. So we're going to subtract n on the left and n on the right. Okay, so all my n's are going to end up on the left. So I'm just going to, if I'm adding 12, I'm going to subtract 12. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 12 on the left and 12 on the right. Okay, so I have 4 terms, but this is, let's simplify this. 3n minus 1n is just 2n's. And these two terms, plus 12 minus 12, that's the same thing as 0. So we don't even write it down. Okay, n minus n is 0, and 8 minus 12. So their difference, you're going to end up with more negatives. So that's going to be negative 4. And I'm going to solve for n. I'm not 2n, so I'm going to divide the left by 2 and the right by 2. And n is equal to negative 2. Okay, all right, so let me make the video on the last one. I'm going to make another video.